coming right at you.
Let's go, guys. Welcome back to High Top Baseball. Man, what a weekend for Gator Nation. I was able to spend 2 days up there in Gainesville with the entire High Top crew. All those awesome events that team put together, all kind of centered around that spring game. Got to meet a lot of you guys, man, a lot of the High Top fans, absolute best fans in the world. You guys are an incredible time, man. You guys just kind of fit in with the crew. That's why this team is so good, man. It's a bunch of just people that are really down to earth, really just looking to have fun and cheer for the Gators, man. So a really awesome weekend. But hey, we were locked into this Gator baseball series all weekend as well. We spent Friday night. We had dinner at Spurrier's. I had the game pulled up on my phone. We were all kind of huddled around watching it. Saturday, we were watching it on my phone from the Champions Club up there in the bleachers, kind of watching during the spring game. And then I came home, obviously, Saturday night, got to watch Sunday finally on a big screen TV, get to kind of really lock in with the announcers and everything. But, man, what a weekend for Gator baseball. Going up to number 4, Georgia, taking the series on the road, man, a team that one of the best offenses in the country so far this year. I think 98 home runs on the season going into the weekend, and they hit 0 in 3 games against us, man. Pitching showed up, bats showed up, gloves showed up. I mean, really kind of still, we've seen all 3 facets of this team at an elite level now. It's just kind of trying to make sure we can put it all together in a single game, right? Sunday, you have the bats blow up, but the starting pitching kind of falls off. Saturday, starting pitching, Friday and Saturday, right? Starting pitching looks great. Saturday, bats were absolutely horrific, right? So it's just making sure you can kind of put all these 3 levels together. But, hey, man, we still got time. We still got some injuries that we need to get healthy from. Middle of May is kind of when postseason's going to start. So just kind of put it all together, man. But we're seeing all 3 levels of this team. We've seen it, all 3 levels, play at an elite level. Just making sure we can kind of put it all together for a single game. But, hey, really, really incredible weekend for Gator baseball up there in Athens. Let's dive into it. All right, let's start with our weekend recap. Go ahead and pull up these weekend notes real quick. All right, so same first 2 columns, right, that we talk about every weekend, QABs and freebie battle. It's a weird one this weekend, right? So Friday we come out, we hit 477. It's under that 500 number, not super under it, right? Maybe an at bat or 2 would swing you back over the 500. So not necessarily detrimental. Wasn't the goal that we shoot for, but still able to win. It's that freebie battle, right? That's the difference in the Friday game. Really sloppy game for Georgia. We win that freebie battle 3-14, right? 14 for Georgia, man. You're not gonna win many baseball games playing like that. They had 6 walks, 3 hit batters, 3 errors, 2 wild pitches, right? You look over to that batting average, 206 versus 103, right? So Georgia's bats didn't even show up. So you got a sloppy game from the pitchers and from the defense. Then your bats hit 103. You're not going to be able to do much, right? Gator bats 206, right? So we didn't necessarily put it on them like we could have. But hey, a good 8-2 win there on Friday night. Gators kind of take game 1 of the series. You can see, right, our batters, we struck out 11 times. They struck out 7. Both starting pitchers had pretty good days, right? King goes 7 2/3. Georgia starter goes 6 innings. So a pretty good day there on the mound for the starting pitching. But the story in that Friday game, man, is that freebie battle. On top of that, right, Georgia's bat's not necessarily showing up, but that freebie battle is gonna lose you the game 99% of the time when you're losing that battle 3-14. Then jumping over to Saturday, right? And on Saturday, we get a first for Gator baseball this season so far, right? We get a game where we win the freebie battle and we don't win the game. First time all year. We've now won the freebie battle 24 times this season through 37 games. We've won 23 of those 24 games. Saturday is the first time we've lost the game while winning the freebie battle. And the story in this one's our bats, man. The Gator bats absolutely did not show up. 294 quality at bats is absolutely horrific. I believe we were 2 for 29 or something in that game, which is an 0.69 batting average. You can see there, right? And then Georgia comes out and they hit 353. So that batting average versus opponent column can absolutely erase that freebie battle column. Pretty clean game, right, from both sides, 5-2. Florida pitching didn't walk a single batter all game. We hit 1 guy, and we had 1 wild pitch, right? So 2 freebies out of Florida. Georgia walked 4, had 1 hit batter, so 5, right? Pretty clean game out of Georgia as well. Difference here is, right, they might have walked a couple guys. Florida didn't bring the bats to score them. 0.69 batting average is absolutely horrific. We struck out 12 times. Georgia hitters only struck out 5 times. And both starting pitchers had really good days again, right? 7 innings and 6 innings there from the two starting pitchers there on Saturday. But, man, first time this season, right? First time we win a freebie battle and lose the game. It's not going to happen very often, I can promise you that. But when your bats come out and put up an 0.69 batting average, man, those are one of those you lost stats, right? It's like those stats that you can just put on the table in front of you and say, hey, you hit 0.69 tonight and Georgia hit 353. Yeah, we lost, right? Those are just pretty obvious, pretty blatant stats. Doesn't really matter what else happened in the game. Those stats are going to be really telling for Saturday. And then Sunday, we get another bit of an anomaly, right, in terms of the freebie battle. So the boys come out, they hit 551 quality at bats. You obviously saw the final score, right, 13-7. You knew the bats showed up when you put up 13 runs. But we lost the freebie battle in this one, right? So it's going to be the second time all season where we lose the freebie battle but win the game. So we've lost the freebie battle 11 times. We've lost 9 of those 11 games, right? 11 times we lose the freebie battle. We have 9 losses in those games. We have 2 wins. So it's the second time now this season where we've lost the freebie battle but still won the game. And this Sunday game, man, was night and day different than the first 2 games of this series, right? You see both teams hit over 300. Florida hits 372 on Sunday coming out of an 0.69 Saturday performance. Bats absolutely showed up. Gator bats only struck out 8 times. Georgia struck out 12. Then another weird stat, man, starting pitching on Sunday, right? We saw Sandifer only go 1 2/3. Not the best day out of him. We'll talk about it in the game notes. But Georgia's starter only went 1 1/3, right? So Florida somehow wins that competition. But just a really, really weird game there on Sunday. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half cricket innings, right? So 7 cricket innings there. And I don't think we had our first non-cricket inning until the bottom of the third, right? So 3 runs, and then Georgia scores 2, and then Florida scores 2, and then Georgia scores 3, and Florida comes out and scores 6. I mean, the amount of cricket innings we saw Sunday, man, I think it was an hour and 45 minutes to get through 3 innings. So pretty crazy offensive output there on Sunday. But hey, overall, man, really good weekend out of the Gator guys, man. We'll jump down to the takeaways here at the bottom. That Friday-Saturday swap that Sully pulled with the starting pitching absolutely worked, right? You saw Aiden just continue to dominate like he has all year. Man, I think he's that's his 5th time he's gone at least 6 innings in a game, absolutely eating innings like we want our starting pitcher to do, saving that bullpen for the Saturday and Sunday games, which we saw again here. And then Liam, right, just really settles into that Saturday role. I think takes a little bit of pressure off his shoulders, not being the game 1 starter. He kind of had the ability to go out there after Aiden's performance Friday and say, hey, man, you got Liam, you got a loaded bullpen. Let's go win the series. Right, so that's kind of the fun part about Liam. Instead of being the guy to go, the guy that kind of kicks the series off, man, he gets to be the guy that kind of gets to come in with a loaded bullpen and a chance to win the series on Saturday. So obviously we didn't see that happen, but really good swap there on the Friday, Saturday. And then Russell, man, he's been lights out his last couple outings, right? He didn't have it yesterday. We'll talk about it in his game notes, but these 3 starting pitchers, man, are absolutely critical. And all 3 of them have the stuff to get the job done, man. And you saw the way they kind of shut down Georgia bats this weekend. Bullpen, right? We didn't get to see a ton of it because of how well those first 2 starters did. But we'll talk a little bit about them here in the game notes. Bullpen looked good, right? There were some good moments. There were some bad moments, specific guys, specific performances. But ultimately, man, Adam, Liam, and Russell are absolutely critical to the success of this team. And I think we got 3 dudes that can go get the job done. All right, takeaway number 2, right? The bats showed their potential. Right, so we didn't necessarily see them blow up until Sunday, but we saw that 372 spot. We saw the way the boys kind of attacked the approach, right? Great approaches at the plate. I think a lot of Gator fans have been kind of begging us to be a little bit more aggressive, right? We've had a lot of 3-2 count strikeouts or just kind of letting good pitches early in the count kind of go by because you're kind of maybe working counts and stuff. And you could tell Sully made it a point to attack first pitch, right? If they're going to throw you something, go take it. I think 2 of our 5 or something home runs on Sunday were on first pitch swinging. You could absolutely tell a lot of these guys, man, were looking to jump on that first pitch. So 6 home runs on the weekend. The bats showed what they can do. Remember, we still got to get Strayer back added to this lineup. We still got to get Barberry added to the bullpen, right? So this team still has to get healthy before they can be fully ready to go. But overall, man, this team has what it takes. Like I said, we've seen elite level performance at all 3 of these facets, right? Pitching, offense, defense. We've seen all 3 be elite at some point. It's just, can we put it all together for multiple games? And can we avoid kind of blow up spots that'll lose you games, right? Walks, errors, the bats showing up like they did Saturday and hitting 069, right? Stuff like that where it's just pretty much guaranteed losses. Can you avoid that? Can you put all three facets together at that elite level we've seen, man? And I think this team's got it, man. Like we always say, right? Justin Soley, man, Mr. Omaha. I think he's putting it together. I think we're starting to see it. And takeaway number 3, man, a topic we've talked about all season now. Couple weeks ago, man, we were putting Bad News Bears templates on the YouTube video. It was ugly. It was really bad defensively, and here we have another weekend without a single error. Questionable, maybe, right? The Sear pop up down the left field line. I know it didn't touch his glove. As a baseball guy, man, if I'm writing book myself, I'd probably score that in error. I don't really care what the official scoring is. That drop pop up by Sear down the left field line ended King's day early, right? That would have been out number 3, I believe, would have gotten him through 8 innings. We probably don't see him come back out, but instead of that 7 2/3, right, he gets through, he gets to the 8th, kind of hand the ball off to the bullpen. So questionable, right? Just maybe not a good defensive play there. Kendall misplays that ball in the corner. I believe that was Saturday, leadoff hitter, first inning, ball down the left field line. Kendall kind of gets hung up down there, bouncing off the walls. It ends up being a triple. And they scored it as a triple. Never would have been a triple without the misplay. So some of these error calls are questionable. But regardless, right, man, hey, 0 errors in the scorebook on the weekend. Really good, really big improvement defensively we've seen out of these Gators over the last couple weeks. And it's really fun to watch, man. All right, we'll pull up QABs real quick on the weekend. Let me drop this overlay. So team hit 457 on the weekend. Not good enough, right? You saw 2 of the 3 games we didn't get over that 500 mark. One of the games we were in the 200s, so just not good enough. But Brennan Lawson, we saw 6 for 10. Surwick, we saw 10 for 15. Mr. Sunday, man, Hayden Yost, 4 for 6. Mr. Sunday as well, man. Kyle Jones, 10 for 15 on the weekend. Just a little too much red here, right? Even the yellows, right? Curlin, 6 for 14. Stripling, 6 for 14. You just want to see that up into the green. Get over the 500 mark. Too much red, though. Blake Sear, 5 for 14. Stanford, 1 for 5. Kendall, 1 for 7. Bowen, 5 for 15. Colt Myers, 4 for 12. So just has to be better at the plate. It's what we've continued to say, right? We said it coming out of last week, and we've kind of been circling that as kind of our talking point these days is, can the bats step up? Can the bats be good enough? We saw it Sunday. We even saw it Friday, right? 8 runs in a game on the road with Aiden King on the mound should win you ball games. So good stuff there. But overall, right, bats just need to be a little bit better than what we saw this weekend in Athens. All right, let's jump over to our specific game notes, and we'll start with Friday. We'll put our game notes here, man. Aiden King's a Friday guy, right? What a performance. Friday, Gators win 8-2. They out-hit Georgia 7-3. Florida made no errors in the field. Georgia made 3 errors. Aiden King, man, 7 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 27 batters faced, a 1.82 ERA. I mean, absolute dominant performance there on the mound. And like we said, man, we catch a pop-up down the left field line. That 7 2/3 turns into an 8. So it's an absolute dominant performance to show up on the road. First time pitching in a Friday game against probably the best offense, one of the best offenses in all of college baseball. And you come out and you just absolutely shut him down for over 7 innings. Just an absolutely insane performance by the sophomore. And this kid, I think Sully said it in his postgame, man. He's been here since 2008. One of the best pitching performances he's ever seen, which is extremely high praise for some of these guys that Sully's had come through the program. So awesome performance there Friday night out of Aiden. Game note number 2, right? The bat's still not great. 477 quality at bats, 206 batting average. We talked about it during the weekend recap, right? Bats just still weren't good enough in my eyes, right, for long-term success. But hey, tonight, Friday night, long ball saves you, right? You have the 7 big-time cricket inning, the 7 runs there in the top of the 7th, all kind of powered around those home runs from Stripling and Stanford, right, back-to-back. It was really good swings by those 2 guys. So long ball saves us in this one. Only 7 hits, but 2 home runs, and we held Georgia to 3 hits. So ultimately, right, that's the story. Our bats were at least better than Georgia's, but still not great. I mean, game note number 3, we talked about it, right? Sloppy game by Georgia. They had 14 freebies, 6 walks, 3 hit by pitch, 3 error, 2 wild pitch. When you have a game like that, man, and you see the team on the other side only put up 3 freebies, that's a you lost stat, right? That's a 14-3. Yeah, we lost that one. And then Georgia's bats start the weekend cold, right? It's what we had been kind of hyping them up coming into it, right? One of the best offenses in college baseball. They start the Friday series, right? They start that Friday game in the series 3 for 29. They hit 103. That's just not good enough, right? Again, right? Just not winning baseball. So that's another stat that kind of jumps off the page for you. And then once again, right? Defense looks great Friday night. Unfortunately, another drop pop up. Blake Sear, right? Keeps Aiden from going that full 8 innings. But hey, overall, man, Friday, really, really clean, really good game of baseball out of the Gators. And that's how you start a series on the road versus number 4 team in the country. That's how you get the job done. Then we'll pull up quality at bats there from Friday. Really good nights out of Kyle, Ethan, Carson, and Landon. Right, pretty good day out of Colt Myers there, 2 for 4. Sear and Curlin both around that 400 number. Not the best days for Stanford, Kendall. Then Hayden Yost gets that pinch hit, just an 0 for 1 spot. So overall, just looking at Friday, right? Not bad, not good enough, but not bad. And with the way that King pitched there, man, absolutely enough to get the job done. So really, really good stuff out of that game 1 Friday win out of the boys. All right, jumping over to Saturday. Georgia wins this one 5-1. They even the series up. They out hit the Gators 12-2. Neither team made an error in this one. So 5-1 game. But hey, game note number 1, man, do not sleep on Liam Peterson. Right, a lot of people. I've heard a lot of bad discourse regarding Liam getting moved out of that Friday slot. A lot of people wanted him sent to the bullpen, shut down. Man, stop it. Absolutely stop it, right? Aiden King's been absolutely dominating. We're just trying to find a way to get Liam back into the form we know he can do, man. And he comes in, like we said, top 14, one of the best offenses in baseball, coming off a bad night, right? Coming off a bad night after Aiden kind of shuts him down. And you kind of just sit there and you think, man, when's this sleeping giant going to wake up? Is Liam gonna get into another disaster, right? Just because these batters kind of do coming after that Friday game. And Liam comes out and absolutely shoves, man. 7 innings, 8 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, right? That's the big stat there. 0 walks for Liam that night. 4 strikeouts. He faced 28 batters. And in his postgame, right, Soley had said that he had some challenges, right? Some like stat challenges for Liam going into this game, right? You're looking at like first pitch strikes. You're looking at getting the first runner out in an inning. Soley and the team are really big on throwing 2 strikes in the first 3 pitches of an at-bat. So then ultimately, right, Soley just wanted him to extend the game, right, eat some innings. And in terms of those stats, right, we saw 70% strikes out of Liam. He was 68 strikes on 97 pitches. So right, a little bit over that 70% number. Absolutely amazing stuff. 2 strikes in the first 3 pitches. He was 88%. Just absolutely, that's incredible. Incredible stuff. Absolute winning baseball on the mound. Just a couple big stats here from Georgia on this one, right? They were 6 for 8 getting the first man on, right? So that's just not very good in terms of Gator pitching, right? You got to try to eliminate that first runner getting on. And then with runners on third, less than 2 outs, Georgia was 3 for 4, so 750 in those situations. So that's pretty good winning baseball there, those 2 numbers. And then obviously, right, they hit 353, we hit 069. So we'll jump over to game note number 2 to talk about that one, man. Gator bats go ice cold with 2 for 29, 069. Absolutely not going to get the job done. Even with an incredible pitching performance out of Liam, unfortunately wasted, right? And then that'll kind of lead us into game note number 3. It's a question I typed in my phone the second I saw him run out, man. Why Walls? Right, Aiden King was so dominant on Friday that we only had to use Ricky Reith. Really good to see Ricky Reith back, by the way. First time back after that like shoulder injury discomfort he's been dealing. We haven't seen him in what feels like maybe a month, right? At least. He comes out 1 1/3 on Friday, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Really good to see Ricky Reith back, kind of filling that Barberry role until Barberry's able to come back, which is looking like maybe a beginning of May around that time frame. But jumping back to Saturday, right? So Liam's got a full bullpen behind him. We've only used Ricky Reith out of that bullpen so far, and we run Cooper Walls out, right? And I think I see what Sully's trying to do. Right, you have a guy that was your Sunday starter, one of your top 3 pitchers coming into the season, kind of struggles, right? Struggles enough to where he loses his Sunday spot, and Sully's trying to give him some more confidence, right? Hey, you're not just to the bottom of the bullpen now that you lost your Sunday spot. We still trust you. We still believe in you. I think during a post game, he had told him, like, you're a difference maker on this team, right? We're going to need you to perform to take this team to the levels we want to take it to. So I think ultimately, right, you've seen a little bit of struggle out of Ernesto. Ernesto's last couple outings have not looked very good, right? You don't have a Barberry to go to. Maybe Luke in this situation, right? You don't want to go to Reitner yet, right? It's the 8th inning here, trying to see what you can do with the loaded bullpen. So you throw Cooper Walls out there, man. You try to get him some confidence. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, right? He doesn't even register an out. 2 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, right? But he did hit a batter, only faced 3 of them. So just not a very good performance there out of Cooper Walls, right? That game kind of blows up, gets out of hand. Then you see Caden McDonald come in. He goes 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, 1 wild pitch, faced 5. So, all right, you get a really good performance out of Liam, and it's a 1-1 ball game. All right, when Liam leaves the game, unfortunately, we bring Cooper Walls in. Doesn't really have the stuff to get the job done. Game blows up. You end up losing that game. Right now, you have to go try to win the series on Sunday. So I see what Sully was trying to do there with the Walls decision. I don't even know if he would change his mind if you were to go back to it. Right, it's situational baseball. You got a full bullpen. If you can get Cooper Walls to go give you 1 or 2 there, really kind of restore some confidence in him, right? That would do wonders for him moving forward, long term as well. We got to find a way to get Cooper Walls some confidence back. Thought he had it maybe coming out of that FSU game on Tuesday, but just not a very good spot here. So I get what Sully was doing there. Don't think he would change his mind if you give him the opportunity to. He just hoped the outcome looked a little different. But game note number 4, errors are getting questionable, right? We had none today, but Kendall in the first. That triple wouldn't have been a triple without a little misplay over there. So once again, man, no errors in the game. You don't hate to see it. And then, like we said in the weekend recap, this is a first for Gator baseball this season. It's the first time where we lost a game and won the freebie battle. Right, first time we've lost the game and won the freebie battle. It's a tough one to swallow for me, man. I loved being able to just say, hey, if you win the freebie battle, you're going to win the game. Can't say it anymore now. The rest of the season, we can say, right, 99% chance you're going to win the game, right? More than likely you're going to win the game, but we do have our first loss in a game where we win the freebie battle, and ultimately it's those bats, man. If Liam pitched well enough to win a game, if the bats can put up a little bit more runs for him, you never know what happens there later in the game. So ultimately, right, the bats go ice cold, kind of ends up being the difference there on Saturday. Speaking of bats, right, we'll jump over to QABs here real quick. A lot of red. You saw 294 quality at bat as a team this one, so you expect to see a lot of red. Really very little positive to talk about here, right? We had 3 guys even at the 500 mark: Lawson, Surwick, and Stripling. Everyone else just in the red. We're not going to spend too much time talking on this one, right? We'll jump over to Sunday, get into the game notes for that. All right, we'll jump over to Sunday, man. This was a weird one, a little bit different than what the rest of the series looks like. Florida wins this one 13-7. They out-hit Georgia 16-13. Neither team made an error. And before we dive into the game notes, man, just a couple offensive stats to read out here. It was just an offensive clinic, really, from both sides, right? Overall hitting, Florida hit 372, Georgia hit 325. With 2 outs, Florida hit 357, Georgia hit 526 with 2 outs. I think all 7 of their runs came with 2 outs as well. With runners on, Florida was 333, Georgia was 400. With runners in scoring position, Florida was 444, Georgia was 375. Leadoff runner getting on was 4 for 9, Georgia was 2 for 9. With runners on third, less than 2 outs, Florida was 4 for 4. With bases loaded, Florida was 1 for 1. Georgia was 0 for 2 with runners on third, less than 2 outs, and 0 for 2 with the bases loaded. And then advancement opportunities, Florida was 545, 12 for 22. Georgia was 483, 14 for 29. So, man, just a really big blow-up spot there on offense by both teams. Pretty good clinic there. It's what you'd expect to see in a 13-7 game when you look at the scoreboard. And then jumping into game notes, man, you could tell Sully had conversations with these guys to kind of jump all over first pitch, right? We're not being aggressive enough. Stop trying to work counts. If you're going to get a fastball first pitch, go get it. Right? It might be the only fastball you get all at bat, so go jump on it. And we saw it from the beginning. We had 4 home runs on Sunday. I think 2 of them were first pitch swinging home runs. A couple of the extra base hits, right? A lot of our RBI hits were first pitch swinging. You just saw the guys kind of had a completely different approach at the plate. They were aggressive, and it paid off, right? Just to start the game, right? Kyle Jones, I think it was second pitch for Kyle Jones. I think he had an 0-1 count, but right, he fouled his first strike off it as well. So he's swinging first pitch, swinging second pitch. He singles, gets on, Lawson walks, and Serwick comes up and hits a 3-run home run first pitch. So absolutely aggressive at bats to the plate, and it paid off immediately in this one. All right, game note number 2, man. Rough day for Russell Sandifer, right? He's been absolutely lights out these last couple outings. He was due for maybe just not the best performance there out of him, right? Still would have wanted maybe a little bit better, but he definitely had a short leash with Sully kind of having that bloated bullpen after the Friday-Saturday games, and kind of how those have turned out. And one thing about Russell, I think the biggest tell point from Russell on Sunday was throwing changeups to righties. Right, so we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I forget what game it was. It was when Russell was dealing, though. We kind of pulled up that video that we watched. That was a couple strikeout compilations of his, and we talked about, right, he's a changeup to lefties, he's a slider to righties. Those are his strikeout pitches. And the second you saw him start to pull the sliders a little bit, kind of lost command, didn't have it. It just wasn't really near the strike zone. Then you start seeing him throw changeups to righties. That's when you get a little concerning, right? The other team's dugout absolutely picks up on that. They jump all over that. They know they can kind of scratch off slider, right? Don't need to worry about slider today anymore if he's throwing changeups to righties. He just doesn't have it today. So I think that was kind of what that mixed with a loaded bullpen is kind of what gave him that short leash. Sully went and got him, right? 1 2/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit batter. So just not the best day, right? Not the best day out of Russell. Not concerned there. I'm not concerned at all about that kid, right? He'll figure it out. The kid is fiery. He's passionate. He's one of my favorite guys to watch on the field. Just the kind of way he commands himself. Absolutely looks like he's stepping into a leadership role on this team. And so I'm not worried about Russell, man. He'll figure it out. He'll turn it around. We'll get him back next Sunday. But, hey, again, right, we can't have all 3 of our starting pitchers dominate on a weekend at Georgia. So we'll take the weekend series, but not the best day there for Sandifer on the mound. But, hey, second part of that game, that second game note, ELC is back. Right, we haven't seen ELC pitch very well his last couple outings. It's actually been a good amount of outings since we've seen Ernesto actually have a pretty clean sheet outing. He went 2 2/3 in this one, only 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. And we got our Ernesto strut back, man. He faced 10 batters in this one. I'm hoping this kind of got righted the ship for him. Right, he had to be able to throw more strikes. He was kind of getting behind batters and then having to groove fastballs and kind of ran into some home run issues because of that, right? He was 25 for 36 on strikes in this one, so incredible. 25 for 36, I think, is right at that 70% mark. So right where you want to be with Ernesto, man. If hopefully, man, that means we see Ernesto kind of roundabout back into form. He'll be another guy, right, that's kind of going to be tasked to eat some of these Barberry innings until we get Barberry back healthy. So really good to see Ernesto pitch well. And then Luke, right? Luke also, he was the one that actually came in first, Sandifer. But before Ernesto came out, he went 2 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, right? Not the best there. 4 strikeouts, though. Really good stuff out of Luke. And then Reitner, 2 1/3, 3 hits. Gave up a couple runs, right? But we had a big lead. I think he was just kind of filling fastballs up there. So no walks, 3 strikeouts out of Reitner. 12 batters faced, hit 2 guys, but extended to 2 1/3, right? So we're starting to see that Neely-type closer role. Can Reitner throw more than a couple innings? I remember Sully used to love bringing Brandon Neely in for 2, 3 innings, whatever that looked like, man. You just give him the ball and you let him go. So I think Sully's trying to see here what he can get out of Reitner, and pretty good stuff there, right? He's pitching with a big lead, so you want him to throw strikes. Sometimes that leads to finding some barrels, especially with a Georgia team that just didn't hit as well as they're used to this weekend. So good stuff out of the pitching staff outside of Sandifer there on Sunday. Bullpen really picked him up. And we were able to see, right, we were able to kind of shut Georgia down this weekend. One of the top teams in the country in home runs. I think they had 98 going into the weekend series. They didn't hit a single one. Against us. And we were in Athens, right? It's a little league field. You saw Florida hit 6, right? We're not a big home run hitting team. So it's a little bit of a little league field. Those numbers definitely get a little inflated on a season, right? On a season stats, right? Those numbers are going to be a little higher just because they play half their games or way over half their games at that little bit more hitter-friendly park. But we were able to hold them to 0 this weekend. Game note number 3, man, I tried to pick a hitter that we could kind of highlight here, and I think we had to pick 3 of them, right? Kyle Jones goes 5 for 5, 1 home run, 1 hit by pitch, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. We'll look at it here when we get to the advanced stats, but Kyle Jones now leads the team in quality at-bats on the season. I know Brendan's been hurt for a little bit, but Kyle Jones has been everything we wanted out of him. And as a leadoff hitter, just an absolute blow-up spot, 5 for 5 there on Sunday for him. Ethan Surowick, right? 3 for 6, 1 run scored, 5 RBIs, 1 home run, 1 strikeout. Just an absolute awesome day for Surowick. He had that 3-run home run in the first inning. Then he comes up, I think first pitch swinging again, hits a ball 3.5 hole between first and second for some RBIs. I believe his third at bat was the same thing, right? Another like hard ground ball line drive to right field. So he's going backside. Bat looked really good there for Surowick, 3 for 6. And then, man, Mr. Sunday, Hayden Yost. I have a hard time believing we're going to see someone different in the outfield for the time being, man. He comes out, he goes 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs, 2 absolute bombs, right? 2 absolute long balls, and a walk. Right, one of his home runs, he cleared that scoreboard in right field at Georgia, man. So he's now, I think, the last 2 starts, he's hit 3 home runs across his last 2 starts. So I'd expect maybe Jacob Kendall to take a seat, right? His bat hasn't really been as good as we were hoping. Yost is definitely a better defender than him, I believe, as well. So I think while we still kind of wait to get Strayer back from injury, man, I think we're going to see more Yost there in the outfield. Really, really good day by those 3 guys at the plate on Sunday. Game note number 4, man. Twitter was really upset about this, right? Our High Top Baseball group chat continues to talk about it every time it bites us. But when will we give up on this defensive shift, man? It seems like we continue to just shift guys and just let, right? Georgia just continues to take ground balls. They're lefty, right? He would just hit a ground ball to shortstop. It's because we have our whole defense shifted to the right side. And it really doesn't make sense when you're throwing outside pitches or you're throwing low and out changeups, right? If you're shifting, pitch to the shift. Throw him inside. Throw him hard balls. He's going to roll over. But we shouldn't be living on the outside corner or throwing outside off speed, right? With that big of a hole when you do shift. It feels like every game now we have at least a couple moments where the other team kind of takes advantage of our shift. I have a hard time thinking about any plays where the shift actually saved us. There was a little bloop. I forget who was on the mound. I think it was Reitner there near the end of the game. It was kind of like a little bloop over the second baseman. Put a righty at the plate, right? So we had a big shift on the other way, and second baseman wasn't really there to be able to make a play. So shift feels like it continues to eat us. I'm sure Sully will talk about it. I know a lot of the media, college baseball media that are talking about the Gators have been talking about this shift, and so I'm sure Sully's going to go address it with the staff, but really hoping we kind of make some adjustments in that department. And then finally, right, we've been saying it. We've seen all 3 facets of this team of this game of baseball, right? Played at elite levels, right? We've seen the starting pitching dominate. We've seen the bullpen dominate. We've seen the bats absolutely blow up. We've seen the defense be able to just kind of hold their own, make good plays, not make any errors, right? When you've seen all 3 of those elite levels, right? Not every team can say that they can play all 3 facets at elite levels like that. So now it's just figuring out how we can do it more consistently, how we can make sure that we're doing it kind of all together at the same time. Right, we got about a month until postseason starts. That's when we got to be really putting it together. But even these last couple weeks, man, these last couple series are really important that we go and win these weekend series. We take care of business in the games we need to take care of business, and because hey, man, we're looking at a potential host, right? We're looking, if we continue to kind of win some series, man, we're going to be a top 20 team. You're going to have a chance to host regionals. You continue to play well, you got a chance to host supers. Right, that goes a really long way in Gainesville for taking a trip to Omaha. So, hey man, we're really, really enjoying what we're seeing here out of Gator baseball. We got a couple weeks to continue to kind of put it together. A couple weeks to keep getting some injured guys back healthy. So, really love what we saw up there in Athens. All right, we'll jump over to some advanced stats just real quickly, and these will be the same stats that we talk about kind of every weekend. I'll drop this overlay for us here. So, man, we talked about the freebie battle a couple times in those game notes, right? We've now won the freebie battle 24 times. 23 times we've won the game. We have now lost 1 time where we've won the freebie battle. We've lost the freebie battle 11 times. That's been resulted in 9 losses and 2 wins. And we tied the freebie battle twice. We won both those games. Teams now sitting at 27-10. Quality at bats in games we win, 568. In games we lose, 444. So that 500 kind of threshold number we shoot for continues to kind of prove itself right there in that stat. And then freebie average, right? We're 5.2 in games we win. We're 9.5 in games we lose. Overall, right across all 37 games this season, we're averaging 6.4 freebies a game. Definitely got to continue to creep that number down a little, but we've absolutely seen that number come down over the last couple weekends. Last couple weeks, right? I think we're starting to figure some things out. So So that's it for those advanced stats. We'll pull up season QABs, right? Hitting 539 as a team now. We've talked about it the last couple weekends, the last couple Monday shows. That number continues to kind of tick down and drop a little bit. It's expected, right? When you hit kind of 400 across a weekend, you expect that number to drop. But like we talked about here, hey, Kyle Jones, 101 quality at bats, is now leading the team. He's now our team leader in quality at bats on the year, hitting 584. Right? Ultimately, that's because of Lawson. Right? You can see there, Kyle Jones has almost 30 more plate appearances than Brendan does. Brendan's still hitting 676 in quality at bats, so really good stuff there. Serwick right there tied with Brendan Lawson, right at 98. Quite a few less at bats there as well, though. He's hitting 583. And then Blake Sear, right behind him. Really good season, really good senior season out of Blake Sear, man. Been really fun to watch him. He's 526 with 72 quality at bats. So this is our quality at bats on the year. And then we will jump over to season home runs. Real quick. This is the home run prediction contest we've been putting on. All the predictions here. You can see the home run stats along the right side. Brendan continues to lead the way with 11. Serwick behind him with 7. Stanford with 6. Sear with 4. And we're right at 2/3 of the way through the season, right? You see there's 66% of the way through the year. It's got Brendan on pace for about 16.6 home runs. So you see Tracy Cooper there at the top. She's got Brendan Lawson at 16. No one's lower than that, though. So we're gonna need to see Brendan kind of put his foot to the pedal here so we can get a winner for this prediction contest. But once again, remember, these remaining games are just regular season, just because we don't know how many postseason games we would be playing. So you will get extra baseball here, hopefully a lot of it, right, with this postseason baseball. So we'll continue to track this as we march through postseason. But man, really hoping we can give away that replica championship ring to one of you guys that made the prediction on here. All right, we will jump over and wrap up today's show with upcoming. All right, so we got Bethune Cookman on Tuesday at 6:30, and then we got a home weekend series coming up against Auburn. Next Tuesday we play JU, and the following weekend we have A&M. So I'm currently planning to come up to Gainesville the 26th. It's that Sunday game versus A&M. I'll be up there with a couple friends, right? So hopefully if you guys see me, man, come up, say hey. Let's talk some Gator baseball. But hey, let's go ahead and jump into Bethune Cookman here real quick. And like we do every weekend, right? We'll just go ahead and pull up their stats.ncaa.org. We'll walk through it together, see what we're looking at. Bethune Cookman is 25-11, right? RPI ranking of 185. They've dropped games to Bradley, FIU. They lost a game to Yale. Lost a decent, right? Maybe 2-5, maybe not decent, but they lost to Miami. Lost a series to FGCU. Lost to Florida State 12-1, lost to JU, lost to Jackson State, lost to Southern U, Mississippi Valley. Coming off a weekend series win over Mississippi Valley, but they did drop that first one, right? They couldn't get the sweep. But the big one that's jumping off the screen right here, right, is that LSU last Tuesday, right? The weekday game, they went to LSU and took care of business, 10-7 in front of almost 11,000 fans, right? So pretty crazy. They go from playing on the 20th of March up here at Alcorn. There was 77 and 34 and 69 people. Next thing you know, you're at LSU playing in front of almost 11,000, and you're able to steal a game, man. What a performance here. So Florida's got to take care of business, man. It's a team that clearly, right, just a week ago came into town into LSU and beat up on them. So we can't take them for granted. Coming off a good series win versus Georgia on the weekend, right? Got to come out and do what we got to do. Team's hitting 294 as a team, right? Tied for 61, so not bad. They're hitting about 0.75 home runs per game. Not great. 2 doubles per game. That's 38th in the country. 446 slugging, 422 on base percentage. That's a top 21 in the country. Scoring 8.2 runs per game with a 960 fielding percentage, which isn't that great. We'll scroll down to their individual leaders. They got Michael Rodriguez hitting 383. Darrell Lee's leading the team with 44 runs scored. Jose Fernandez, right, their home run leader on the team's only hit 4, so they're not a big home run hitting team. Jeter Paleto, 35 RBIs on the season. Sergio Rivera's already swiped 17 bags. Edwin Sanchez leading the team in innings pitched and wins at 6. And Pablo Torres, right, leading the team with 2 saves. Here, we'll jump over to Gator stats real quick, just so you can kind of get an idea of where we're at as well. Right, so we're 269 batting average as a team, 162 in the country, 1.3 home runs per game. slugging 451, on base of 379, 6.9 runs per game. And that fielding percentage actually starting to creep up a little bit, right? 971. Earned run average, right? We're 17th in the country with a 3.79 ERA across our pitching staff. Strikeout to walk ratio 3.16. That's top 10 in the country. So really good stuff there. Brendan Lawson leading the way with a 3.40 average. Kyle Jones scored 41 times on the year. Lawson's got 11 bombs. Surwick, 38 RBIs, leading the team there. Kyle Jones also swiped 16 bags. Aiden King leading the pitching staff pretty much across the board, right? 46.2 innings pitched, 1.74 ERA with 5 wins. And then Reitner kind of closing us out there with 6 saves on the season. So overall, man, right, hey, we got another weekday game we got to go take care of versus Bethune Cookman, like we talked about, right? A team that just went and stole one from LSU, so can't take them for granted. Got to go make sure we get out there and take care of business. No hang-ups coming off a good weekend win series in Georgia. Got to just continue to roll, continue to play good baseball. So that'll do it for today. Had an absolute blast getting to hang out with a lot of you guys, man, up there in Gainesville. Really enjoyed getting to meet you guys. Like I said, I'll be up at in Gainesville for the 26th of April for the Sunday versus A&M game. Please come up and say hey if you see me. Love to meet you guys. Really been enjoying these watch parties as well, right? We'll continue to kind of schedule some more of those. Try to plan to hop on and maybe at second half of some of these weekend games once I get the kids down here at home. And we'll definitely kind of plan to do some of those as the postseason rolls around. I think it'd be fun to kind of watch some of these do or die games with you guys. Kind of get a bunch of people to jump in, and we can kind of live and die with every pitch together like we have been. So those watch parties have been a lot of fun. And then finally, man, don't forget code FLSportsTakes over there at Pristine Auction will get you a free $20. They got a lot of really good stuff over there. I've actually recently just grabbed these 2 cards right here, a signed Cags and a signed Langford card. And hey, I think we're somewhere in the mid 500s with subscribers over on YouTube. When we hit 1,000, I know we got a ways to go. It's going to be a little bit of time. But when we hit 1,000, man, we're going to be giving away both of these cards. I'll figure out how to do the giveaways, but we will be giving away both of these cards right here when I hit 1,000 subs on YouTube. So if you've got friends, man, if you got other YouTube accounts, you got a family, whatever, man, anyone that loves Gator baseball, you let them know to come sub with us. Once we hit that 1,000 mark, we're going to be giving away both of these cards. Alrighty, guys, really good weekend there on the road in Athens, man. Nothing better than getting to beat up on those Georgia Bulldogs. Really exciting stuff. Really love what Gator baseball is looking like right now. Like we said, right, Tuesday at Bethune, weekend series at home this weekend versus Auburn. We'll be back on Wednesday to kind of highlight Auburn. We'll talk about that Bethune game. But as always, guys, God bless and go Gators.